We got some edge players too, man. Like,
Okay, can I start?
go ahead.
I would draft Princely Umanmielen here, and I'd
Uh,
not even think twice about it. I know I'm pretty much higher on him than everybody else in the class, but we just talked about how the Bengals love SEC players, and he just flat out dominated the SEC for 2 years now. The 23% pass rush run rate, a 91% pass rush grade, 91% grade on true pass sets. He just gets to the quarterback. There's just no doubt about it. There's nothing he hasn't shown on film. We watched him a little bit last week here before the show. Maybe not the deepest like overall bag in the world, but again, it goes to what I said with Walter Nolan is that he's been in the edge. That's his job. His job is to bend the edge, bend the edge, bend the edge, bend the edge. Ivy's going to hold the opposite edge. Nolan and Pagais are going to scream down the middle. And when they take him away, Prince is going to spin inside and rock the quarterback. There's just so many good things to like about Princely here, in my opinion. On top of the fact we're pairing him again with Walter Nolan. I love Princely here more than there will not be a player ranked higher for me than Princely here.
I do think right away my gut and my mind goes to, if we do draft Walter Nolan here, I do think that Princely should be in the conversation. I'm always a fan of pairing up guys. I mean,
you talked a lot about, and this is for you, Logan. You talked a lot about Prince here. What are your areas for concern when you turn on the tape and you watch him?
I think in general with Princely, he does a lot of the same things. He's a quick step. He bends the edge. That's what he does. That's what he does. And when his counter is, you take away the edge, I'm spinning it back instantly.
Yeah, I saw this a lot.
We don't see too many spin moves around the NFL as much today. But again, that's kind of when I talk about Walter Nolan, I kind of just continue to watch his Ole Miss defense, and I feel like that was the plan. Princely's been the edge. Nolan's right next to him, just shooting down the gap. Pagais is working a little bit more creatively, and Ivy's holding the opposite edge. That's kind of just how they did things. So with Princely, I think that's kind of the a little bit of the awkwardness for him. How deep is the back? He's got two really good moves, which is plenty. Like I don't know, like some people don't even have one. I don't think the run defense holds up as well as the grade suggests. I mean, a 78 run defense grade it's just plenty above average, but I think that's a big beneficiary of playing by Jared Ivey, by Walter Nolan, by JJ Pagais, who are much better in the run. He's an effort player in the run game. Just similar to what Evan said about Swinson. You're not really going to play him out. That's not why you're drafting him. That's not why he's on the field. He's out there to rush a passer, and that's what he is.
My concern there would be, like you kind of said, the run defense grade can be kind of deceiving. I think he plays like a 245-pound player, like out there in the run game. If he doesn't have doesn't have good leverage, doesn't have good positioning when he makes contact, he can get kind of pushed around or pushed off and washed out. But then when I go to the testing, I agree that on the tape you can see a little bit of that bend. But then when I look at the testing and I go, if you really have bend that can survive in the NFL, because you're going to be the pass rusher, right? You're not going to be valuable as run defense. So you have to be quality as a pass rusher. When you get to the more athletic tackles and some of the better offensive linemen, why did you run a 29th percentile 3-cone?
Yeah.
Why did you have a 38th percentile shuttle? Why don't you show that change of direction ability when you're testing in all these facets? And I believe those are his pro day numbers too, which, you kind of give an extra little nudge to, right? You goose it a little bit. I think those are question marks for me that just kind of, I absolutely love the tape in terms of just like pass rushing ability, guy you're getting in the second round. The physical questions and then the run defense questions, that just kind of is what gives me pause. And also why you get a player who was that dominant as pass rusher this time in the draft. Now.
I think in general too, another slight concern, and I don't even want to call it necessarily a concern, is I don't want to say he's inconsistent, but there are some games where he doesn't do as much. But then there's also games where he's by far the best player on the field. Like you can see it up there. The Georgia game for him might be some of the best film of any edge player in the class this year. He just flat out bent Georgia over for 4 quarters. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything to stop him. Nothing. They couldn't. I mean, 93.7 against a Georgia offensive line is ridiculous. Like
he did what now?
He bent them over and took them to town for 4 quarters. Like they couldn't stop him. And that, like, again, like when you have a guy that dominates elite competition, it's just really hard to pass up on something.
This guy's got a family.
Sorry, Georgia tackles.
You feel very, very very passionate.
Yeah.
I will say though, my 2 highest rated players here are Princely and Benjamin Morrison. So I'm like, as much as I want Princely, I totally get the Benjamin Morrison thing. I'm not going to complain that much if that's the route we go, because again, they are my 2 highest rated players here. I'm not going to throw a fit that much.
Let me ask you this. Because coming in day one at the NFL, right? Who is he stealing snaps from on the edge on the Bengals? Because I feel like the Bengals are, Sam Hubbard retired, right? There's that's the obvious, right? There's going to be a world where Myles Murphy and Joseph Ossai are going to get every opportunity and every single shot.
He's out there second and long or third down.
Yeah.
Like passing situations. That's it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think he's the second best pass rusher on the team. That's
Really?
Yeah. I mean, what has anybody else shown?
Who's
I think
Cam Sample?
coming.
Cam Sample? Joseph
I'm
Ossai?
just saying.
Myles Murphy?
You
What's
know how-
wrong with you, Malik? Why do you think this?
You know how they are.
Malik Wright says that nobody
that's the
needs
thing, like,
edge.
I have
Bengals are fine.
I
I'm the
like-
biggest edge guy.
I like Myles Murphy. I think Myles Murphy is going to be a very quality NFL player for a long time, but his pass rushing will never be what he's going to be known for. He's going to be a
And
high
watch him
quality.
proceed to have a 15 sacks.
And that would be awesome. I
I'm
would
kidding.
love that. And Joseph Ossai is, again, I think while he's solid, he's in an awkward situation too. If he has a good year, does he price himself out of the Bengals? If he sucks, does he just suck? Like, it's kind of that awkwardness where, if you draft an edge, this isn't just a Princely argument, this is just an edge argument the rest of the draft for specific pass rush dependent players, which will be the guys we look at. Like, even this year they could play. Next year they could be the starter. And like there's avenues quicker for them. Who knows if Trey goes down, we don't want to be just
for sure.
That's it needs to be a deeper room. The talent isn't top. It's top edge Trey, and then a quality overall high floor player Myles Murphy, and then a TBD hopeful-ish on Joseph Ossai.